Hey everybody, this is going to be a video on naming compounds for transition metals. You can see the periodic table that's in front of me. The transition metals are the highlighted ones, so they're just basically the little dip in the middle box. These are all your transition metals. So you can see there's manganese, iron, cobalt, etc., etc. So how do we name these ones? Most of the time when you're naming compounds for transition metals, you will be given a list of the different transition metals. So you can see here, you have iron, copper, silver, mercury, all these ones, zinc, nickel, blah, blah, blah. All these ones are found in your middle transition metals. And this is usually called a multivalent list because these transition metals can have different charges. So if you look at iron, for example, there's iron, it can have iron 2, this is your Roman numerals 2, and iron 3. So that means that iron can have a 2 plus or 3 plus charge. If we skipped over to say lead here can have a 2 or 4. So these ones are this list should be given to you. And you might be wondering, why are they all positive? Well, if you look at here, your transition metals are still on the left side of the staircase. That means that there is still going to be your cation, which means they're the positive ones. That means they just want to take the electrons in. That's what the positive means. They're lacking that electron. So in this state, iron 2 plus, that means it can take 2 additional electrons in. So how do we go and name these? It's actually pretty straightforward. Say if we were to have something called iron Fe and oxygen, and we need to form a compound. And we know from this name, like right now, there are 2 options. Iron can be 2 plus and iron can be 3 plus. So let's go and name and combine using the iron 3 plus with oxygen. So anytime you're combining anything, you want to write your charges out. And since this is 3 plus and 2 minus, one really simple way of figuring out the ratio is just doing this crisscross method. Basically that goes into its subscript. That means that's the number that you have, and this is the number that iron would have. So in other words, basically this is going to be Fe2O3. That means you need 3 oxygen for every 2 iron that you have in this compound. So how would you name this? You name it just like your ionic compounds. You're going to start off with your first one, which is iron. And iron is not going to, the name is not going to change. And the only thing that you need to indicate, because this is a transition metal, you need to indicate that you're using the 3 plus charge. So because you're using a 3 plus charge, you're going to write Roman numerals after iron, and that's it. And then for the last second species, for oxygen, it's just going to be how you name your ionic compounds, which is just oxide. Okay, so that's how you name iron 3 plus with 8 oxygen 2 minus. What if we were to name with the iron 2 plus? So Fe 2 plus and oxygen is 2 minus. Since this is 2 plus, this is 2 minus, that's going to be a 1-to-1 ratio. So it's going to be Fe and O. So how do I name this? Well, you're going to start off with iron. And iron, because you use the 2 plus, you're going to use 2 instead of 3. And then oxygen is just going to be oxide. Simple as that. So this is how you name your transition metal compounds. So what if you were to be given something like, say, zinc 2 and like this, zinc 2 F2. Actually, it should be like this way, zinc 2 fluoride. So you're given the name first, and then you have to determine the formula. So to determine the formula, you're just reading from this name, and you see that there's a Roman numeral for zinc. That means, because it's a 2, that means it's going to have a 2 plus charge. Fluorine, this is just like your basic fluorine right here. So that's your halogen. So you should have a 1 minus charge. You need to balance these 2 charges. So this is 2 plus, that's 1 minus. So you need 2 fluorines. So finally, your formula is ZnF2. So that's how you name compounds with transition metals. Make sure you balance the charges, and that's it. Pretty straightforward. So try some practice.